Today on Faithfully Fantasy.
I had to say, these chapters generate a lot of questions on me. Finally, Tairn's the Violet is ready, and the evening he starts to channeling. And right after he having sex with a girl.
Maybe he's just been really pent up. It's like, oh, finally, she's ready. Well, now I can do that. I think.
Maybe it's like, oh, you look so sexy channeling. Come here, give me some sugar.
Some dragon sugar. Where was Andana?
Maybe Andana, she was like covering the ears.
She knows where the research is, and we still don't know where the research is by the end of Iron Flame. You've bonded a feather tail, for God's sake. Don't you want to know what your dad found out? I know where it is. I'm going to tell you when we get to my bit.
Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy,
the husband and wife podcast talking all things fantasy fiction.
Join us as I'll be going through my first read-through of Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Today we'll be talking about chapters 21 to 25. And I had to say, these chapters generate a lot of questions on me.
Do they?
Yeah.
Ooh. Can't wait to get into it.
Yes.
They have a lot of answers for me. Mm-hmm. Actually, there's a lot of foreshadowing. I said this last week, but there's if you read this part really carefully, you could figure out what's going to happen. Although, when you know, it hits differently the second time.
Yeah, not sure if I'm going to be able to figure it out what's going to happen, but it creates like some questions. They take the story to another levels, another places. So yeah, interesting to see. I've
got some games for you to play as we go through the chapters this time. But as usual, we will start with my summary, and you can tell me if I've missed anything. Okay. So after being attacked in her sleep, if you remember, Xaden is taking absolutely no chances, warding her door and assigning Liam as bodyguard. This means Liam is her new shadow. He's on archives duty in full-on flirt mode with Jacinia. We learn that all marked ones are conscripted into the Rider Quadrant. Liam was fostered after both his mother and father were executed. He was fostered into the same home as Xaden Ryerson, making them as good as brothers. His sister was sent elsewhere, but he's expecting to see her in the Quadrant next year. They're given a scroll to take to Markham, which brings news of further attacks on the southern border. They're expecting to hear more in Battle Brief, but it's mysteriously skipped over. Liam offers to vet partners for Violet before Professor De Vera announces that the winners of the first squad battle will visit an active outpost. We're with Iron Squad in the sparring gym, where Damp Dane has them prepping for squad battle. Violet is struggling to concentrate on her match with Rhiannon for multiple reasons. First, Tairn keeps breaking into her head and showing the bond is getting stronger. Second, Shadowzaddy is wandering around with his top off. And thirdly, she's still raging that Xaden has given her a guard dog. However seemingly nice he is. We heart Liam, though. Not to mention, Twat Barlow is over the other side of the gym, generally being his twattish self. Violet and Rhiannon are all of us when they stop the fight to simply take in the beautiful sight of Xaden and Garrick. But they could just be watching for technique, of course.
Yeah.
Twat Barlow comes at Violet, accusing her of hiding behind more powerful men, but he was the one who ran at threshing. Vi learns that Jack is allergic to oranges. Let's file that away in useful stuff to know for now. Before he is forced from the gym by our BFF bodyguard Liam, Xaden puts his shirt back on. Boo. But not before we notice his massive dragon relic is covered in small silver scars. Violet controlled her anger. Is she finally ready to channel? She's back in her room, casually brushing her hair when a rush of energy races down her spine, a deluge of raw, endless power, which will change her forever. She tries to ask Tairn if it's his power, but he's busy doing something else.
Wink,
wink,
wink.
Wink. The lust he is feeling for Sigale comes pouring in or out as she bumps into Liam in the corridor before running down the spiral steps to the river to get some fresh air, but all she finds is Churum and Mint. Xaden's there feeling the same feels as their dragons are away trying to make dragon babies. He teaches her to shield only after she says please. And she manages to build the archives of her mind and block Tairn out. She's a natural and gets it first time. Then we get the first kiss. We'll go into that in more detail later on. The morning after the night before, and Vi is telling Rhi all about it after finally escaping Lian's charge. But Rhi has news of her own. She can summon, making a book disappear and reappear somewhere else. On her way to class, she's cornered by Dane for another fight. This one ends better than the last, though, with an apology, not asking for the memory, and an acceptance that she has 2 badass dragons to protect her. She doesn't need damp Dane. No one needs damp Dane. Violet finds out that Jack will finally be allowed to challenge her on the mat and tells Liam, we see he can keep this from Xaden right until the very last minute. On the mat, she's holding her own and even manages to draw first blood until he cheats, throwing a dagger into her arm. Ouch. Before his hands clasp her face. Agony fills every cell in her body as violent, vibrating energy rips through her with an intensity that makes it feel like he's cleaving ligament from bone. Wowzers, what power is he wielding? She pulls out her own secret weapon and wakes up hours later in the healer's quadrant, Xaden at her bedside asking, "Oranges?" Unfortunately, Jack is still alive and Xaden doesn't want to talk about that kiss, but he's decided if you want a job doing, you best do it yourself. He's taking over everything when it comes to Violet. Her training is now in his hands, but he had a dozen Tyrish daggers made for her, which better complement her body type. Note he didn't call it a weakness. She just has to fight them off him first. And phew, it gets a bit steamy as she learns that violence isn't the only way to disarm an opponent. She gets them all, but let's face it, he's not really trying particularly hard. Wink, wink. Again. Next, she is supposed to be in Car's class, but to damp Dane's dismay, Xaden pulls her out for flight practice. Our Shadow Zaddy shows some rare vulnerability, mentioning his father, with the kind of pain in his eyes that never dies. They're on the way up the stairs next to the gauntlet when they come across Daddy Dane and Mummy S coming the other way. Violet is average, blah, 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 but they are most interested in the Feathertail. We learn that Violet's dad was doing some top secret research on Feathertails. Violet knows exactly where it is, but she's not telling them that. After being sufficiently asshole-ish to Xaden, the group leaves, leaving Xaden shocked at Violet's lack of relationship with her mother, and Violet wondering what price Xaden paid years ago to prove his loyalty to Navarre. Boundaries, violence. Chapter 25, at last. And squad battle is well underway. Liam wins on the mat, which puts their squad into third place. They'd be top if Violet hadn't humiliated Tairn's whole family line by crossing the line last after refusing to let Tairn hold her on. The final challenge is to find and acquire the one thing that would be most advantageous to our enemies regarding the war effort. There's a catch, though. Their leadership has been compromised. At least that means we don't have to put up with Dane and Sian. Liam suggested that they need to steal information, and Violet comes up with the mother of all plans. They're going to steal from her mother's office. They use Quinn's awesome signet of astral projection to distract the guard, while Nadine unweaves the wards on the door, and Liam uses his farsight to keep watch. They rummage around, finding a couple of smoking gun missives on the desk. They will definitely come back later, before deciding on taking the up-to-date map of all current outposts of Navarrian wings, including troop strength and infantry battlements. They're nearly done for as the guard kicks in the door. Rhi summons the map to the other side of the corridor. Emery knocks out the guard with a rush of air, and they run to presentation in Battle Brief Room, where Xaden, casually leaning against the wall, tips his imaginary hat. That was a long one.
Yes.
Gotta breathe.
Really good summary as well. I think you catch like the most important parts in every single chapter.
It's really hard to do the summary. That's the bit that I find hardest.
Yes. So congratulations. That was
thanks.
Really good.
Are you tipping your imaginary hat to me?
I'm doing it for the one that you listen at. No, Sian.
I'm going to get you to do them in Iron Flame. When we get to Iron Flame, you can do the summary. So, what did you think?
Like I said, there's so many questions that I was getting through these chapters. And there are questions that I don't know if I will find the questions in this book, or maybe I have to wait for the next one.
Am I allowed to tell you if we find out or not? Because I've been doing that the last...
I think you can tell me if I'll find out later in this book or I have to wait.
But not like page 74 of Iron Blade.
Yeah, or maybe something that, we still don't know what happened or why this happened. So, should we start with chapter 21?
Yeah.
Straight away. So, we see that, Sian is a good guy. He's constantly with Violet. Violet, she can't say nothing against this guy because he's a really good guy. He's really useful. He's showing like already all the stuff that he can do.
And he's a friend.
Yes. But talking about this character, he started to talk a little bit about his past as part of the terrorist rebellion. And something that caught my attention is the way that he refers to this. He called it the apostasy, which straight away come to my mind. Some of the sentence that I got to advertise in one of my books, the history is not written by the good guys, it's written by the victors. It's only everyone had like a part in an argument or in a war. Everyone think they're right and they're not. But this particularly is like, okay, doesn't mean that maybe actually they had a really good reason to do this kind of things. And they said the one who won, they said they were just like rebels, traitors. There was a rebellion. But maybe they're saying they're just trying to fix something or they're trying to do something. They saw there was something wrong. And was Satan's father the first one to jump in and trying to fix it or trying to do something about it?
Do the right thing, maybe.
Exactly.
You
That's
don't know.
one of the things that I'm thinking, okay, maybe we start to see that this rebellion actually is hiding something else and maybe they are not the bad guys, they're not the traitors, they're actually the ones who try to do the right thing. And
so, yes, we find out about the rebellion. I am not going to tell you who the bad guys and who the good guys are, because you can work that out for yourself. But we do find out more about the rebellion.
And this book or next one?
This book.
This book. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of like in a good way because I was thinking, I'm thinking something's going to happen soon. But yeah, hopefully it will be this book. And yeah, just telling me this one, so I'll waiting for more details.
Just continue.
Yes. But this is another thing that caught my attention. That was his mother, the one who joined the rebellion. After all of them were defeated, she got
Liam's
executed.
mother.
Yes.
Okay.
But his father, he wasn't in this rebellion. He wasn't part of this. He got killed as well. He got executed. And he was separated from his sister as well. So it was like a really bad thing that happened to these people. And for me, just because a rebellion doesn't look like, okay, that's just too much. So I think there's something really heavy going on from the people who's running the place. But I found that really interesting. And I can't just wait for see like, okay, I need more details to find out what's going on, why this happened. More things. So basically they're trying to kill everyone that was part of this, even if I was just the families. So the men were executed, and the children was, all of them, not just the official ones, were basically forced to be writers. That was part of the deal. Violet, she thought they were just like the people that were like the officials or the one in charge of the rebellion, but it's actually every single child with a rebellion mark has to do the writer quadrant. And the only reason that's done is because they never thought they were going to make it so far, because they used to think that dragons are really something that's really important for the dragons is honor. And they thought that none of them will born with somebody that's marked, but Sigel was the first.
Well, that's what Imogen says, isn't it?
Yes.
But Sigel did.
Sigel did with Zayden. He was the first one to go through all of that. And there's still 107 children. They had their rebellion mark. And something that is just like mind-blowing. One of them got the mark before he was born. So it was like, wow. The power of the dragons must be really...
Or the power of something else.
Okay.
We don't know.
Yes. What else we have for all of this? Like you said, they found down as well, there's another attack in Summertown, another high altitude attack. There's something that it goes to Professor Marhan, and Valerie, she was just assuming that it's gonna be like the next thing in Battle Brief, but didn't mention at all. And we'll find out later on there's gonna be more of these attacks happening, and it's kind of like a regular thing. And we start to see as well they kind of like loosen the grip or loosen this battle, or not loosen, but the resources are getting like now limited. And Violet's thinking that they're gonna be soon in the battlefront as well.
Did you flick to the map? Did you check the map while you were reading? To see where Somerton was?
Yes, I think it was like close to the Tarish border or something like that.
Yeah, the Tirish, the Cliffs of Draelor, which separate Tyrrendor from the Cravela province, which is where Poromil is, where all the riders are.
Yes.
It's kind of in between there. I am a little bit obsessed with flicking back to the map every time something's mentioned.
Reference.
Yeah, but there's some places that are mentioned that aren't on the map, and it really annoys me. So I'm obviously into the geography of Navarre. The world building is really what gets me. Like, I just love how you can completely create a new world.
Yes.
And having maps is cool.
Yes, I like it too. When I start to see like they're talking about something, you see on the map and start to make sense. So you can see this world, how it's been built. But something that caught my attention as well, that when Professor Marhan was doing the battle brief, he said that, well, not many things happening, so we're going to start talking about this, I think it's called the Battle of Yarnford. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly. But it's this big battle that happened 600 years ago.
Jamfar.
Yeah. Against the army of the Barons. And it was the last time the Dragons and Griffons worked together. So I don't know if it's something reference to the current situation, because he's not talking about, okay, we'll be an attack again, there's no reference about it, but why he's doing reference to this particular battle. So for me, it's like, it's just completely random, or it's something that they want the cadets to like remember.
Do you remember the Barons being talked about before?
Yes.
When?
That was... No. Can't remember now.
So many times. So there's been a few times, and I'm not going to tell you because I don't want it to ruin it, but there's one key time where it's mentioned where you would just, if it clicked, you would just know exactly what's going on.
Yeah. Well, there's been a couple of times when they mentioned this, not only like the Barons, the Fabulous as well. Fables, yes. So I remember that happens right in presentation day when they were talking about it. What else? Can't remember. Like.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to go too far because.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it.
Yes, but again, about this battle. Like I said, I don't know if it's just completely random thing.
Nothing's random. You know that as a fantasy author. Nothing's random.
Yes. Okay. That's it. I think there's one of my takeaways from this chapter. Is anything that you think I missed?
There's still a few things I wanted to talk about, but they're not really... Nothing that you've really missed. One thing I said last time, I think, was that we were starting to see some hostility towards the Tierish, the marked ones. And you get that again, and Liam takes it really well. So you get that from one of the scribes in the scribe quadrant. I like the fact that he's flirting with Jacinia, although Violet tells him off.
Yeah, but I think the only thing that he wants is just have some fun. Because even when Violet said Jacinia they want their long-term relationship, he'll get like surprised, like, seriously?
People
think they...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as well, there's a first, when she's in the archive, she breathes in the scent and she tries to absorb a bit of the peace that it brings. And that's kind of a direct link to later, how she builds the archives in her mind and she feels peace in there. So it really is home for her. And you can start to see that as you read this chapter particularly. There's also a bit of a clue that Xaden has said nice things to Liam about Violet. He says Ryerson was right, you'd be wasted as a scribe.
Yes.
Which means he's not just saying, he's saying nice things to Liam about her.
Yes.
Obviously he has some respect for her. The fact they have the same foster home as well is so interesting to me. Who is Duke Lindell? We don't meet him in Iron Flame, we don't meet him in Fourth Wing, but the Duke that has raised both Liam and Xaden, who is this man? He was obviously seen to be loyal to Navarre, otherwise they wouldn't have put him with him. But I have a sneaky suspicion, some theory, that Duke Lindell is going to come back and he is a good guy.
Well, don't know, because I wouldn't say like race then, because when all of this happened, say that I think like 2 years later he was already
You're right, but he looked after Liam for an extra year. He looked after them.
Yeah, that's one thing that, like you said, I don't know if I will find out later on, because in the end it's like his stepfather. So I don't know if he's still in contact with him, or in some point we will find out more details about this, because it looks like a really like an important person on the political level I'm talking, but have to wait and see, I guess.
The other thing I'm interested in are the other subjects that they learn while they're at Basgiath. So we know they do battle breath, that's not really a learning. We know they do flight, we know that they do cars, magic, wielding, whatever, lessons. They do physics.
Yes.
Why do they do physics? And why is Ree so good at it? Is it just so they don't fall off the dragons? Is it to do with like gravity and stuff?
Yeah, for me it's funny they're talking about physics, because the dragon shouldn't exist if they're talking about like proper physics.
Yeah, well, don't. You and your dragons are too big.
Yeah, still struggling about it.
I find that really interesting.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, I'm picturing kind of like medieval age, so I'm not expecting to see like electricity or that kind of stuff, more like just fire and really like basic stuff. But then they're talking about like, say they have like a pocket watch or something like this, or like, okay, so which century are we talking about, or what kind of age or what kind of technology these people have here? Because normally when we're talking about like, dragons and that kind of stuff,
clocks are old. Like,
yeah, but not that old. Then the medieval times.
I don't. I get you, but I think some of it's a bit of a device to, one, make it relatable, and two, just have something. Because they time people and they need something. I don't think, like an egg timer. What do you call them? An hourglass. I could do it with that.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that was probably. Yeah, that's probably it for 21.
Okay.
It's not a very interesting chapter, is it? Let's face it. Like, it's a bit of a boring chapter.
It's more about how hard it was for Liam go through all of the. See, like the execution of the parents,
Oh,
How
yeah,
the
sorry.
sister-
I wasn't being very sensitive to Liam's trauma.
Like how the sister has been sent to someone else, but he know that next year he will see her again, and he expecting or he's hoping that his sister will make it through all of that.
Do you think he'll see her?
I think there will be a mention. It would be weird if they mentioned that my sister and Liam is turning into like a kind of like a main characters, like part of the gang. Is how I see it now. And then they don't mention the sister at all next year.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that at some point she will be there. I don't know if she will be an important character or she will join the gang or something, but definitely I think that she will be there. Okay, so let's move on to chapter 22.
Yep.
Okay. So in this chapter, there's something that Violet noticed, and that Jack Barlow is allergic to oranges. Other thing that she noticed, that Zayden has scars in the back, and the question is, why?
Why is Jack allergic to oranges, or why does Zayden have scars on his back?
Jack Barlow, why he's so allergic to oranges? And actually have oranges in this world. Interesting. No, but...
Yeah, because it doesn't seem very warm, does it? Well, anyway.
But more interesting, Zayden's scars.
In Zayden's back. Zayden's muscly back. That's what you're interested in.
Ooh, yeah. Because I don't know if this has been like a punishment from the people who I don't know how to say, when he was captured or when he was put on the riders, or was due to something that he did to prove his loyalty to Navarre. So I know that if Violet noticed this, it's because it's gonna be something important. It's something that defines Zayden's personality and all his story.
No comment.
So yeah, that means that it's something that I will say.
You find out, yeah, you find out what these scars are from.
Yes. And finally, turns see the Violet is ready for channeling. So in the same day when he said that she's ready, in the evening he started to channeling, and it's something weird because he's like channeling, and right after he like having sex with a girl, it's like from one thing to another one straight away. I thought that when they were channeling, they had to maybe like a focus because they like need to connect and send like all the energy. Because Violet was saying like, she can feel like this, like...
Maybe he's just been really pent up and he's just been abstinent, is that the word? Because he's like so focused on Violet and she's got to be ready to channel, and then he's like, oh, finally she's ready, well now I can do that, and I can...
Maybe it's like, oh, you look so sexy channeling. It's been a few years, they haven't seen you like this. Come here. Give me some sugar.
Some dragon sugar.
Yes, but it was weird that she was like, Tairn, is this you? Hello?
But where was Andana?
Yeah, it's like, well, maybe Andana, she was like covering the ears and singing or something. She just don't want to.
Or she just gone to fly away somewhere.
Definitely.
She's gone for a flight.
It's now for children.
Yeah.
So I found it like funny and weird at the same time. It's like, how it's possible that he passed from in seconds from one thing straight away to be like super horny that she can't even feel it, that she feel even desire for poor Liam.
Poor Liam, not poor Liam.
Yeah,
Liam
like,
would have gone for it.
Why you look at me like this?
He would have done. I don't know though, because I think Liam knows Zayden so well that he wouldn't.
Yeah, I think he would take it like on a. It's like taking the girlfriend of my brother.
But do you think Zayden likes her?
I do.
Okay.
You know that all this thing they're trying to sell this book like from rivals to lovers. I never saw Zayden as a rival for her.
Yeah,
It was always her like, oh, he wants to kill me, and he was like, always trying to do something for her.
Yes, I don't think the trope is actually enemies to lovers. I mean, everybody says it is, but this one, for me, is they're supposed to be enemies. They're by birth and by blood, they're enemies, but they're not. It's just that his mum was an enemy of his. Her mum was an enemy of his dad. So I don't think it's real enemies to lovers, but your role is to be enemies, and that's why they're so torn, because they're supposed to hate each other, but they don't.
Yeah.
So it's not that they were ever enemies. It's just that they were told they were supposed to be enemies. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But it was for me the same. They say that it was just like tolerant, her existence there. So he wasn't like, I want to kill her or I want to do something bad to her. And Violet was all the time like scared. But hopefully by chapter 22,
oh no,
we're not
she's
seeing
still
that anymore.
She just
So, sometimes it's like, I have to remember that he doesn't want to kill me. Oh, for fuck's sake,
yeah, but
woman.
she's been told so many times that he's supposed to hate her.
Yes.
And Dane is still telling her in this chapter.
Yeah,
he still tells her
he has secrets and he will never forget.
Reasons to never forgive your mother. So
Yes.
Dane is fueling this.
Yes, true. Okay, so back to Violet feeling all the feelings from Tairn, so she need to escape. Then he goes out. She finds Zayda and there's smoking, and there's smoking this Charon, or
That's probably just like,
weed, I guess.
can we say that? Yeah, maybe.
I mean, for the how you call it, effect that she was describing about Zayda, that he was like so relaxed and even like smiling.
Yeah.
Well, like saying like,
It sounds similar, doesn't
is this
it?
happen very often? He was like, yes.
But how have they not had babies?
Well, there's any
They
reference
might have
about it?
done
Maybe-
previously, but yeah.
They don't have babies because they're adults. They have their own lives, their own babies, and they're still enjoying their. Because
yeah, but they don't have.
I think Tairn is like
dragons have contraception.
Maybe. They have magic, you know.
Yeah, but
But as far as I know, they might have children.
yeah.
Did they say no? We never had children, right?
Yeah, but Xaden does say you've been hiding a hatchling from me, and Sigel says no.
Oh, yeah, I will never.
So wouldn't she have been like, I've got children, I've got other children, I'm not hiding them from you? I think I don't know. It feels weird to me.
No, but that's the thing. When I think Sigel say like seriously, I will never look at one of my children like born when he's just 2 years old or something like
Yeah,
that.
so
It's kind of like she know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's because experience or
Yeah.
just because deep in her heart is a mother without a baby.
maybe.
Yes. And okay, so there's well, he's smoking. He offered. She nah. There's no after that. Then he started teaching how to shield, something that's gonna be really useful if she wants to avoid that kind of feelings again. And because all of this, they start to kissing, and of course, well, like a really passionate kiss, but in the end, he is the one he need to like cut it and say that no, this can't happen because this is not your feelings. He's just thinking that it's because Tairn, it's not because Violet wanted, and because he's a gentleman, because he's just perfect, of course.
Yeah, he's not going to take
That-
advantage of her because he's just
Yes.
a total babe.
Exactly. So he say no to her, and she's like, oh, well, I really want that. That was sad.
Yeah.
Because being like for 22 chapters, just saying how much he fancy him, how much he wants him. And finally, when she's getting something, now it's just like, no,
He breaks off.
It's not you.
Yeah, but I do feel like there's something in it. They obviously know that it's inevitable and something's going to happen. But if you are going to spend the rest of your life with somebody, could get really awkward, couldn't it? If, like, in the first couple of months, you're already with them and then you break up and then, yeah, could be awkward.
Yes. I mean, you know that you're going to be together doesn't mean that you have to have a good relationship. As long as the two dragons can be together, they can get married with other people. They have to move constantly or do whatever the dragons want to be.
As long as they hate each other. How did you feel like the kiss scene was written? Did you feel like it was hot? Did you feel like it was well written?
Yeah, there was a few moments there. I felt like, okay, I don't know if this makes sense, but most of them it was really good. It's like I could see it in my head happening. I think there was just few sentences when she was mentioning something like there was like a lot of tingling of thorns of teeth or something like this.
Oh yeah, tongues and teeth.
Yeah, well, like,
a tangle of tongues and teeth.
Yeah, something like this. I was like, what?
Yeah, it does. That bit was
so
a bit
like,
strange.
No.
There's loads of TikTok videos where they're reenacting people's expressions and things that people have written, and the tangle of tongues and teeth. I've never seen it reenacted, but maybe we should try it. I really like it. I think it's a first sign of how he would treat her. And yeah, I really like it. It's really well written from my perspective.
Yeah, as a woman. Really
but it's written by a woman, and you can tell, or a woman can tell, because you can tell I know that it's not quite a sex scene, but you can tell smut that's been written by a man compared to smut that's been written by a woman. And I imagine, I don't know, this is a sweeping statement, but a woman would prefer it if it was written by a woman. A man might prefer it if it was written by a man. Don't know.
Yeah, I guess it would be awkward if Violet has been written by a man, and then it's like from Violet's point of view, describe what's going on, and you are a man written that because women and men we have different point of view, even for just describing a kiss.
Yeah.
So you can tell maybe which details a woman will include, what feelings a woman will include, what a man will do.
Yes.
Sure. Anything else you want to
add? My god, yeah. Oh, just the kiss scene or of the whole
22.
chapter. So the epigraph. Back to epigraphs.
Epigraphs.
The first rush of power is unmistakable. You'll be addicted to the high. But here's the thing. That power can quickly turn and control you. Right, there's so many things here. Brennan, we don't know a lot about Brennan at the moment, but remember that. Channeling. So obviously it means channeling. The first rush of power is unmistakable. She did know, didn't she, immediately? As she was saying, no, it can't be, it can be. But within a sentence, she knew.
Yeah.
I also think it's kind of giving you a bit of you'll be addicted to the high. The first rush of power is unmistakable. The first kiss is a rush of power. You'll be addicted to that man. But here's the thing. That man can quickly turn and control you, or that like lust you're feeling. I think there's a link there between channeling and how she's feeling about Xaden, and also something to come back to later when we get more into the Nail and Brennan theories of what happened at that situation. But that is a really key epigraph for me. So remember, chapter 22.
Okay.
There's a bit here about, and we're going to pit Dane against Liam on the mat towards the end of the show. So Dane refuses to be bested by a younger rider, and that's just Dane all over. He doesn't want to, he's too afraid to fight because he's going to lose.
I think he has this personality because he's a, how you call it, squad leader. he has to be perfect. He has to be in this position that nobody can say anything wrong about him. That means he doesn't never break the rules, even if he needs to bend it to save
Bloody Dain.
his best friend. And even if it's in a battle, he's supposed to be like the strongest or the best, so he's not going to risk to anybody to damage the figure that he's building about himself.
His reputation.
Yeah.
So Dain, talking of Dain, he's being more of an arsehole in this chapter. When there's several things, isn't there, when she's watching him. Obviously he's feeling some jealousy. But
again, when they're talking, he has this now like a habit. They always have to touch the face. It's like...
Oh, but he doesn't need to touch faces. We know that. And we put it on TikTok, but you can't convince me that Dain has to touch your face to read your memory. And I've got a very, very good example of that in the next chapter. But there's just a couple more things. So Dain again is saying, don't poke the bear, don't aggravate Jack Barlow because he's going to beat you. And Xaden, he's the one that ran. So Jack is the one that ran, and Xaden he says it a couple of times. She's not wrong, and he's defending her, and then he says, you choose the oddest times to defend her, Aetos, and the most convenient times not to.
Yes.
And it's so true. And then I had another theory, not really theory, but thought that she could have gone absolutely anywhere. When she started channeling and she started feeling Tairn and Sigil's, or she didn't feel Sigil's, but she started feeling Tairn's lust, she could have gone anywhere. She could have obviously she couldn't have gone to the archives, which is a calm place, but she went down the steps to the river. We have never seen her go down the steps to the river. It's not like her happy place that she goes to. She was almost certainly being pulled there because Xaden was there. So I believe that she didn't know she was going to find Xaden, but her subconscious was taking her to find Xaden.
Not sure about it, because they were feeling exactly the same. They were feeling like really hard. They were feeling like desperate to get maybe something with somebody. So what the first thing they both did, just go outside to take some fresh air because it was snowing. I don't know if that place is like the closest to go.
Could have gone to the courtyard. They could have gone to the towards the flight field. They could have gone anywhere, and she went down the same steps that Xaden did.
Was.
Yeah. Yes. He also says, "You've scared me nearly to death once or twice."
Yeah.
He says it's something about what you've put me through. You've scared me nearly to death once or twice, and I wonder which parts which bits they are. Why was he so scared, and why was he nearly scared to death?
Well, definitely when she was sleeping and these guys came to try to kill her, because he didn't get there in time. The only reason that she didn't get killed was because Andarna.
She stopped time,
Otherwise, she would just go there and she would be dead. And what else? I can't remember other the threat situation for her, because it's been like a couple of times with Jack Barlow around. But a part of the threshing, when she injured Jack Barlow and he just ran away, there not being another dead situation for her. So it's just him maybe too worried about her. For proper reasons. Oh, maybe when she's flying with...
And she keeps falling
Tairn,
off.
she's falling.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You haven't called out any... There have been, over the last couple of chapters, or at least this particular chapter, a couple of clues as to what her signet is going to be. Let's play a game.
Okay.
What are your predictions? This isn't really a game, but what do you think Violet's signet is? At this point, you would never guess it. You just wouldn't. I refuse to believe anybody that told me they guessed it by this point, even though on the reread, you can see clues as to what it's going to be. So
Okay.
what do you believe is Violet's signet at this point?
Okay, so far what I know about signets is something really personal. It's something about the person, about what they need as well. I remember one of the, I think it was in this one, or maybe in the previous one. No, I think maybe it's gonna be the next one, when she's not getting the signet yet. And she's thinking, hopefully there's a reason for that. And she is expecting her signet is gonna be something meaningful, not just something useful or something really powerful. It's something that she can do maybe well for other people. So I'm thinking that she will get something really similar to what Brennan had. So I don't know if it's gonna be something as a healer or something that helps people, because she really likes help people.
She'd be able to heal herself as well, wouldn't she? Every time she breaks
I
a
don't know
bone.
if you're able to use your own signet against you.
You can, but it's really takes a lot of energy, I think.
Okay. Because like Brennan, if he had a broken bone, he can just use his signet on himself.
I think so.
Because I know there's, I don't know if I sent this book, but it's been kind of like a rule that if you have like a power like this, you can't use it by yourself, or you have to always use it to other people. But I don't know exactly how it works, because I still discovering.
No, I think
about
you
the
can mend
sickness.
yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's gonna be something that it will help people. That's what I think.
That's not a guess, but all right then. I'll let you off.
I'm still like discovering like sickness, so I don't know what kind of signet you can get.
Yeah.
Or what is there?
We've got a big long list in this episode. We learn quite a lot in chapter 25, don't we?
Yes.
Chapter 23?
Chapter 23. Okay, so after the experience with Zaydan in the case, she went the next morning to talk to Ree. She's talking about Zaydan, everything that happened. Ree showed her the signet as well, because now she has this amazing signet that she can summon objects that are not too far away and they're not through walls. And finally, now there's a really rare signet, and she will have a great career with that signet, and she will be able to do a lot of stuff once she managed to control it perfectly. So I was thinking as well, like, how this work, because I didn't get any clues about Ree's personality or Ree's needs to get this kind of signet. And then there was the other one, like I think it's Reddock as well. He has a signet that's kind of like very
Generic.
average,
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah, but Riddick kind of is quite average, isn't he? I mean, I love him. He's funny.
Yeah, I guess
But-
not one day will go for being a leader or being somebody.
Yeah, he's never going to win. He's never going to be the fastest up the gauntlet. He's never going to be the best on the mat. Imogen has him in headlock, doesn't she? So, yeah, I think, and if you think about it, these rare signets, they're rare.
Mm-hmm.
So, most people would have fire or ice or water or air. And you know that Emery has air. So they're very elemental, aren't they, these ones? So I do think Riddick, and that I'm going to get hate for it, but Riddick is average. Although he is one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Average isn't bad, it's just normal, isn't it?
Yes.
But it is suspicious, not suspicious, it's... A lot of the rare signets are in Dane's squad. So some of the really cool rare ones that we get to see later
Yes.
are...
Yeah, so I was wondering about it, like what is that thing that triggers that somebody's going to get like something really
Yeah.
rare?
Why does Ree need to summon? What is
Yeah,
her
exactly.
need?
Yeah. How do you will predict that something like that will happen to her? Because I couldn't see any clue like in what kind of situation she maybe need to take something. Maybe in parapet she need Violet's boots, so it would be really useful to get it like that.
Rest in peace, Rhiannon's toes.
Yes. Okay, so after this, they go into class. I think they go into Professor Carr class. Then he's going to talk to Violet. This time is to apologize for everything, to warn her as well about Satan. And when he mentioned the name about Satan, because I think Violet can see Satan talking with the new wing leader or something. She started to remember what happened last night, and I found it like really curious. And the moment when she like remembered that thing, he flinched.
Right, we're going to quote this because this is the single biggest clue so far that Dane does not need to touch anybody's face. Images of last night flood my mind, from Xaden's first smile to the last brush of his lips, and I shove them away. So these images are flashing in the front of her mind. Then instantly Dane flinches.
Yes. The first thing that he said, like, you trust him more than me. But that is just like to give him like explanation to why he's putting this jest. But I find it like really curious. Just when she's having these images and the head, he put this.
Yeah, I don't think it's curious. I think it's absolutely conclusive. Yeah. He does not need to touch anybody's face now. But I do think you know when he's doing it. So I think it's when images flood your mind. So when you get a strong memory, he's searching your memory for those things and he's finding it. I think that's the clue. So from going forward on my reread and your first read, I think we need to be on the lookout for when Dane's around and not just cupping the face, because I don't think he needs to do that, and I've said it a million times, but we've got to be on the lookout for the fact that he might be rifling through her memories.
Yeah.
Just like flooding when she's got weird thoughts.
Yes, I thought in the beginning with Dan that he was one of these, how you call it, transient?
Intrinsic.
Sorry. But now I start to see that no, actually he was telling the truth, that he can see like recent memories, but he was lying about the touching.
Yeah,
I think he can do it without touching. It's just that he put this effect so he can't be like compared with intention. So I think he's telling the truth that he can see recent memories. And once that signal gets stronger, he'll be able to see maybe all your memories.
Yeah, but he won't ever be able to read your thoughts, is what we don't think. He'll be able to read thoughts, just memories. So, going back to when Andana stopped time, which we covered in the last episode, she says everything needs to be in balance. Yes. And that, for me, with Dane's signet, obviously we learn about Violet's signet in chapter 25, but I think we can cover it now. Her signet is to wipe recent memories, but she doesn't want to draw people's attention to that. She wants to say that she's fast, and I think for good reason. I think it's the same as Dane's, is that it's not intrinsic, but it's creepy, it's weird, it's something to do with the mind. It's like a mind signet. And people will be creeped out by it. People will be scared. And you don't know what's going to happen. And the fact that it's in balance, he can read memories. She can wipe them. So if he's about to read a memory, she could just wipe it and she can counteract his signet.
Yes.
And he can't counteract hers. So she's going to be really useful.
Yes. Yes, that's something that make you think. Because this kind of sickness is something that is like trespassing boundaries, because everyone wants to keep your own thoughts or your own memory. Don't want to share something with somebody that you don't want to share, and these people, they can just come to you and see what's going on in your head without your permission.
Yeah, it's a violation, isn't it?
Yes. And I think, and that's why with intention there's like, it's a capital offense and you will be dead, because you're doing it and you don't need permission to anybody. And that's the main reason they would think Dane is saying that, yeah, I need to touch you so I can read your memories. So it's like, you're giving me permission to do it, otherwise I can't do it. But I think he's really clever, and he's just adding this. So is there no confusion about his sickness?
I think Imogen is really clever as well. And I gotta 100% say this isn't my theory, and I don't remember the name of the account that I saw it on, but I think I believe that theory and think that Imogen is very clever with hers as well. We'll get to that later.
Yes, I have some questions about it, but yeah, there's going to be in next episodes. But here, when going back to Dane talking with Violet, Dane is basically warning about Zayden, and he's saying that thanks to his signet, he has, I think he has security clearance. So he knows more about Satan than anybody else. And that's another thing, like, is he actually have like security clearance, or is just he knows what's going on because he can read their memories?
Yeah, but it's not recent. I thought the same thing. And is he... Yeah, how recent is recent?
Well, it's the second year for Dane. So we're assuming the last year when he started to know his signet, Satan was there as well. We don't know exactly, I don't know exactly what point Satan was doing these kind of things to show to everyone that he's been loyal to Navarre, and they can't put anything against him.
I think it's a really good point.
And it was like a recent memory, but like a year ago, and he knows about it.
I've got you like totally obsessed with Dane's signet, haven't I? So you're like spotting it. I'm going to say something about the argument.
Yes.
And you're going to be so surprised. I think Dane has a teeny tiny little point when he says, what does he say? I think Violet is a little bit mean. She says something like, he needs to keep me alive or he'll die. What's your excuse? And his excuse is that she's his friend and he actually just wants to keep her safe. I know I do have an issue with Dane and the fact that he calls her weak all the time and he doesn't believe in her. But that point there is quite valid. Yeah. That Xaden just gets a free pass. He gets to put the bodyguard in. He gets to do all these protecting stuff. I know he does it differently because he never tells her she can't do it. So even when he gives her the daggers and when she wins the daggers, he says you need a weapon more suited to your body type. He doesn't say to your weakness or something like that. Whereas Dane would see it as a weakness. So there's a different way of going about it. But he does have a teeny tiny little point there. I'm going to give him half a point.
Yeah, so it's not completely bad. There's not everything wrong about Dane.
Well, the thing is, it is coming from a good place, isn't it? But the fact that he doesn't believe in her just is a no-no.
Yes. Okay, and the last bit of this chapter is Violet. She found out that she's going to fight against Jack Barlow. And she had a plan because she knew that he's allergic to oranges. So she tried to beat him. But then when things started to be against her, she used this secret weapon and nearly killed him. But in the end, she managed to save his life as well, saying to Reddock what's going on with him. Otherwise, if she doesn't say anything, nobody will know that he's allergic to oranges and nobody will know what to do. He will just die. Yeah. But that's another proof about how different is Violet for a regular writer. Because even when she knows that Jack Barlow, he will just keep trying to kill her. She doesn't want to kill him. She is not a killer.
Yeah, she says, I didn't want to kill him. I just wanted to stop him killing me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she working out with the healers, and then he's being like with her, I would say, all the time, because she mentions about the hair that he's been maybe.
Yeah, that'll be another time that she scared him.
Yes.
But that was after he said that. But still, we can keep a Violet scares Xaden tally count, and I think we're on 3.
Yep.
So the The bit that jumped out to me in this thing is that obviously she knows where to go to find out who she's fighting.
Yes.
It said chapters and chapters and chapters ago when we started this journey, the professors choose who get to fight each other to weed out the weak.
Yes.
Emeterio does not know. His eyebrows rise and he takes a deep breath. Like, he's shocked that they're going to let Jack fight Violet. One, that also shows that Emeterio thinks that Jack's going to win, I think. But if Emeterio isn't setting these challenges, then who the hell is doing it? Because I just assumed it would be the sparring professor.
True. Yeah, it's a good question. More because he knows that Jack Barlow had mentioned a lot of time that he will kill her in the mat and nobody will say anything about it because it would be kind of like fair thing.
Who's doing it? It's not General Sorengale. She's busy doing the budget. She's not got enough time.
She's busy ignoring Violet.
She's busy ignoring Violet and doing the budget because this place doesn't run itself, you know.
Yes.
So that jumped out at me as a bit like, I'm curious who's actually saying these things. Also, I wondered if you had any thoughts about what Jack does on the mat.
I don't know, and the way that she was describing was like he was able to, I don't know if it was like control her body or something, like controlling matter, you know, when she was like feeling like a,
for me it was like a torture, like a pain.
like
I think that was his signet.
like burning, you mean?
I quoted it, I think, in the summary. Let me find it. Agony fills every cell in her body, in my body, she says, as violent vibrating energy rips through me in an intensity that makes it feel like he's cleaving ligament from bone. So for me, that's like the Cruciatus curse in Harry Potter. That it's like some kind of torture power that he is wielding.
Yeah.
Do you believe that is his signet?
Well, it's something. There's like maybe because for me it was like I thought in my mind where he was like crushing or doing something that whether they were like matter or I don't know if he can do it with objects as well or it's just
destroy.
Against people. Yeah, something that is just
Cause
like
pain.
Yes, which it would be like a proper signal for him because it's like the thing that he likes to do the most.
Yeah.
Torture people.
She also notices that his eyes are red when he's doing it.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was the bit that jumps out at me. Also, the fact that he throws the dagger and it lands in her arm. Oh.
Yeah, and what's the Metro doing? Because he's just like, yeah,
Pull it back,
not throwing things.
Pull it back,
you naughty
Paolo.
boys, like, come on. It's
Yeah,
trying to
but
kill
these
her.
people are killing people all day. I find it weird that she throws up when she reads the register and finds out that it's him that they're finally gonna. Do you imagine?
Yeah.
She's not supposed to be there, and she's just thrown up all over the floor, and she's run away.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not. She said, "At least I'm not puking like I did when I found out." And also, this is where we find out that Liam is her friend. He cares about the relationship with Violet.
He doesn't tell anything to say until he's allowed to do it.
Yeah, so he is really loyal because he has promised her that he will not tell her. And he's begging her at this point to let him go and find Xaden.
Yeah.
And that to me that seals the deal. Liam cares about Violet.
He's a friend. He's not just a bodyguard.
I care about Liam. He's just lovely.
Yes. I mean, with these figurines that he does, apparently he's really good. Because if you can tell, oh yeah, that's Tairn or that's his dragon, like, has to be good.
Yeah, and he doesn't even paint it.
Yeah.
It's like that. The colour is the one thing that makes the dragon
It would be a pain
distinguishable.
how a guy like this, because it's like doing it everywhere, living the...
Little Shayla sawdust.
Exactly.
Oh, Liam's been here again.
Yeah, people would clean and would be like happy with him.
The only other thing I wanted to mention was that you finally find out what Mira's signet is in that chapter.
Yes. That is something else is mentioned there. In this chapter, there's so many signals that just start to pop out.
Yeah, Liam as well. Liam can see a single tree from miles away.
Yes. I mean, that's really useful if you're in the middle of the battle.
I would just like to be able to see a tree from a meter away without my glasses on. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be a proper signal.
Yeah.
Okay, chapter 24. Anything else to add to chapter 23?
No, go for it.
Okay, chapter 24. So, after the oranges incident, Sian takes care of violent training, given some new daggers, more suitable for her body type. And he's putting a lot of effort in her training. He's not being like rigged. She was more like not pushing too hard. He's pushing to the limit. So he knows what he's doing, and he knows that she will get stronger after all of that. What else? Something that caught my attention as well. I think we were laughing about this as well. The March arrived and they must shovel all the snow every morning.
Sorry?
The March arrived. And
March arrived.
They must shovel the snow every morning.
Right. We're going to play another game here.
Useful signals for clearing the snow?
Useful signals for clearing the snow. Why did they have to shovel them? Right, so we'll take it in turns. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say fire wielder. They could just melt that snow away.
Yes. I think I can't remember the name of this girl. Emerita, I think, that she can control air. She can...
Emery.
Emery?
That's a boy.
It's a boy.
Yeah.
I think it's the one who controls the wind.
Emery.
Emery. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's Emery.
Yeah, I told you. It's Emery.
But that's another useful signal.
5 seconds.
Yeah,
and
all gone.
Okay, right.
That's
next
it.
one for me. Shadow shovels. Zayden could just do shadow shovels. Like a giant snowplow made out of shadows. So it's just like, and it just goes
straight away. And job done. Gray, summon the snow, send it to another place. Make it all disappear, appear out on the way.
Right, Heaton's useless because he can just breathe underwater. There's got to be some more signets that would be good.
Sawyer can control metal. I guess can control all the shovels, make a bigger one, and then just...
Nolan, can you just like return the courtyard to its normal state? Can you just mend the snow away?
Oh, this is another crazy idea. Use a dragon.
Oh yeah, you could use
Get a dragon and melt the snow. I mean, how many riders are there? And there's no dragon close to help for that.
And they're all just shoveling the snow like absolute chumps.
Yeah, every morning.
Every morning. That's funny.
Oh, well. So, okay. So, what I was. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll put here, like, seriously, not a soul wielder.
Soul wielder!
That would be useful for somebody
really...
that had no signal yet.
It would be really useful in battle. You just throw salt in people's eyes.
On the griffons or all the creatures. Jesus.
It would also counteract an ice wheel. You know, like with everything in balance.
Yes.
Like Riddick's power would be useless if you had a salt wielder and an ice wielder.
Oh gosh. Okay, so talking with Sian, looking after Violet, she took her out of Professor Carr's class because he'd been like training her as well. So at the moment, she doesn't need to go to take that class. She needs to do something more useful. In this case, is go to fly with the dragons. So I found that really funny as well because, as Satan said, we all learning here. You have to learn how to fly with Tairn. Tairn has to learn how to follow or
share the airspace.
Share the space with other dragons.
It's Sigale that needs to learn to follow.
Yeah, follow orders, and then Tairn was like laughing or something.
And she snaps at his throat.
Yes. So it was quite funny because kind of like the whole family going for a little fly together. Okay. And well, something before we go into that part when they're going to find the dragons. Saidan was walking with Violet. I think he took her to the one of the bedrooms. I think he opened the door so she can go because he had good manners. But she was really surprised about it, and she was like, "Wow!" And he was like, "What?" And she was like, "Oh, you opened the door, like you've been a gentleman." And he was like, "Oh, well, yeah, like all habits doesn't die easily." And something because his dad teaching he need to do that kind of stuff, and then he put this kind of face, or she identifies as a grief, yeah. And she tried to change the subject, but on here is giving me more details about Satan's father, and as I mentioned before, with all this rebellion, and then now he
doesn't seem like the bad guy. Do you think? Let's think of a good villain in a movie.
A good villain.
Darth Vader. Do you think Darth Vader opens doors for people? But he doesn't need to. It just goes.
Yeah, he uses the force.
He uses the force.
Yeah, because he's a metallurgic.
Yeah.
He's in sickness.
There's a particular sentence that stands out here for me, which makes my heart bleed for Zayden Ryerson. It feels really vulnerable. He says, his gaze falling away, every muscle in his body locking as though he's preparing for an attack. Because he knows everyone in this place thinks his dad is a bad guy. And so any mention of his dad, he prepares himself to hear that traitor or that... And that's his dad.
Yeah.
So you can tell it says as though he's preparing for an attack. And who would he expect it from? He'd expect it from Violet, wouldn't he? Because she's Navarre. Her mum is Navarre through and through. Like, you cut her open and she bleeds Navarre. And the fact that the pain in his eyes is the kind that never dies, it's just heartbreaking. Obviously, he really loved his dad.
Yes. That's something that has been shown later on when they're going to, I think they're going to the fly field and they find Colonel Aetos, this Dane's father, and Violet's mother as well. And when they start to have this chat about things that, we need to talk about it as well. He sees them, I didn't know you had that kind of relationship with your mother. So for him, it seems that it's like unexpected because I can tell that he didn't have that relationship with his dad. So maybe he was really close to his dad. And this is just telling me his dad actually, it wasn't a bad guy. I think he was just the good guy who was
on a different side of the war.
Yes. So I'm more interested now to find out more details about Fenrisson, about why all this rebellion started and why it's causing it.
I'm interested to find more about Fenrisson too. We do find out what the rebellion was about. We don't find out much about Zayden's mother, which is interesting, and that I have a big theory about his mum, but we can't get to that yet. We'll talk about that when we get to Iron Flame. But the surprise to me about Violet's lack of relationship with her mother, again, is another sign that perhaps there's something else going on with his mother.
Yes. Okay, so going back to the part where they meet Colonel Aetos, he was really interested to know more about this feather tail that Violet had. So she asked if there's any chance that maybe she can call on Darna so they can have some studies about her. For her, well, fuck no. But she can't say anything. So she was like, well, feather tail are really reserved, so I can't do it. So he was like, oh, well, that's a shame, but I remember that your dad was doing like some studies about this. And she knows what he's talking about.
She knows where the research is, and we still don't know where the research is by the end of Iron Flame. Wouldn't you think that if you knew where that was, you would go and find it? You've bonded a feather tail, for God's sake. Don't you want to know what your dad found out? I know where it is.
Yeah.
I know where it is. I'm going to tell you when we get to my bit. For ages, I assumed it was in the Vale because it's feather tails. That's where the feather tails are.
Yeah.
But on the reread, I think there is a mention of a place within suspiciously close proximity to the first mention of Daddy Sorengill's research.
Yes.
I am 90% sure it's in this place now, and I'm going to die on that hill. So, yeah. Anything else you wanted to say about that interaction?
I was just thinking about the same because she knows exactly where the stuff is, and I was just wondering where this place will be because I'm expecting to find out later on. But if you say that even in Iron Flame there's no mention about it,
it's got to be in Onyx Storm. It's got to be. Yeah,
it's weird because you're in Violet shoes. You had a feather tail that doesn't come very often, doesn't talk to you very often, and there's not that much information about it, and you know that your dad did a lot of investigation.
Go and find the research, and she's a scribe. She has a thirst for knowledge. It makes no sense.
True.
That's why I kind of thought it was in the Vale, because you can't just toddle on into the Vale, can you? Unless you know a secret passageway, which I'm sure Xaden does. But the fact that this other place is mentioned in close proximity, I think it's there.
Yes.
But if it is there, why on earth isn't she just going to get it?
Yes, like what his dad was talking about, like what he was studying or what he found out.
Yeah.
She doesn't know it will be really useful now that she got a feather tail. So why don't they?
And why was he researching feather tails? So many questions. Why?
I think maybe he knew or he was suspecting the feather tail were actually baby dragons, because I think at that time feather tail was just another kind of dragons.
Yeah, I think it's another kind.
Yeah, just like a grown dragon, but a small one.
Yeah, but it's not coincidence that her dad was doing loads of research on feather tails and she bonded a feather tail.
Yeah. That's
not coincidence. I wonder if he had eggs or something. I don't know. I don't know. Too much.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. What else I have about this? No, we can see the Violet's mother is just really cold and beyond.
Hard as nails.
Yes, I mean, it's good to be seen that you're like professional, that you're in an army and this kind of stuff. But at the same time, come on, you are between basically friends, because Colonel Aetos has been friend of the family for a long time, so she doesn't have to pretend anything. At least that's what you expect.
You've already lost a child.
Yes. So why she not show some love or some appreciation for your daughter?
Maybe she's trying to protect
against
her.
All the odds.
Maybe she's trying to protect her. So I struggle with Lilith Sorrengail. I go on a roller coaster with her throughout
Yeah.
That I keep glancing to the back of me, but that I'm looking at the Iron Flame book. So I struggle with Lilith. I think she is a contradiction sometimes. Some things she does is totally against another thing she does. But I do think we will learn more about her motivations and her involvement. And I think she knows more about what Daddy Soaringale was doing than she's letting on now.
Yes.
I think she also spent almost an entire year ignoring Violet after her dad died. She says that to Xaden.
Yes.
In this chapter. And that's on top of the times that she wasn't perfect like Brennan, or she wasn't a warrior like Mira. Obviously Violet has some kind of complex, but there's something about that I think that we might learn. I think there's a reason why she found it harder to talk to Violet, and it could be as simple as the fact that she reminds her so much of him. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we have kids. If the worst was to happen, my kids would remind me of you, and that's only a good thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be painful. It would be horrendous. I can't even imagine it. It would be painful. But it wouldn't affect... I don't know. You can't say, can you?
Own children.
Yeah, but I can't say, but I know for a fact. But I think there's something more going on with Lilith that we'll find out. You find out more in Iron Flame, you do. But I think Iron Flame is not the end of it.
Yes. Yeah, she's just a really mysterious character, because in the beginning I could say that there was more stuff that she wasn't saying, or she had like reasons to do the stuff that she was doing it. But after we start to see a little bit more about her, it start to lose more like, no, she just cared about I don't know if it's her legacy or her family
reputation.
Name. Yes, because of Sorengel. But at the beginning, it was just, no, she really loves Violet. She knows that she will pass through all of that. Like, she was like 100% sure that she will make it. She will be a rider. They will like not die in her heart. But then when she's like, oh, you still have a signet? Like, okay, like, well done for her. The baddest dragon.
Yeah, 2 dragons.
You had 2 dragons, so all that kind of stuff. Like,
nothing's ever good enough.
She will achieve, no, just focus, and the stuff that she doesn't have yet. Oh well. I guess, like you said, we'll find out more stuff, and we'll change opinion about her.
Yeah, and when she says, I'm not perfect like Brennan or a warrior like Mira, Xaden says, she doesn't know you very well then.
Yeah.
So in that moment, he's calling her perfect and he's calling her a warrior. But you just don't notice it because you think, well, he would never do that. But he is calling her perfect and he is calling her a warrior. And that's like one of the moments that, obviously the kiss scene was pretty good. But when he says that to me, it means
like a boyfriend.
To me, that means
advice now.
He cares about her. And also, to me, the bit about him telling Liam she'd be wasted as a scribe. It's one thing for him to say things to her, but to say things to other people, that's another. There's a different thing, isn't it? And it all points towards the fact that if he's not fallen, he's falling.
Yes. I mean, there's been a couple of times where he's been surprised by her, but in the good way. Like the first time when he showed the signal to her in the woods and she threw the daggers to him, and he saw like how good she was with that.
Yeah, his eyes widened, yeah.
Yeah, he was like fascinated. And the way he was teaching her how to shield, that she learned just in one go. And he said, whoa. That took me 1 week to learn. Astonishing, yeah. So he has a really good point of view about her. And maybe something that she just start to see as well. She start to believe that she is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So just back a bit to Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
A few pages before she arrives, there is a bit of foreshadowing. It's foreshadowing for a couple of pages later. It's not foreshadowing for the end of Iron Flame or anything. Mm-hmm. But it says, I'm proving to be the one thing my mother hates, average.
Yes.
So Rebecca Yarros puts that in, and then a few pages later, it's true, her mum is basically saying she's average, and she's telling her to her face.
Mm-hmm.
This is the key reason why I think we know where Papa saw in girls research is from these chapters, because she puts in the clue to the research, and then a few pages later she drops this location, and that to me is a similar reflection. She says something about her mum, and then her mum is there. She says something about the research is there. It just fits a little bit. And I honestly didn't think, I've read this book I don't know how many times, and this time when I was just highlighting bits, that's when it jumped out. Also, Sienna, the executive officer for the squad, is a bit of a bitch. She's saying, oh well, we're not going to lose. We're not going to win because Violet's basically shit. But Rhee might make up for it. Liam and Heaton are great on a mat, and she basically says about how everyone's really good, but
that's about
Violet's rubbish.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird. I don't like Sienna. We don't know much about Sienna, but
true.
I'm not a massive fan of her. The other bit that we hear is the silver-tipped braid that her mum thinks marks her as cursed. So that's the only other thing I wanted to mention. The silver in her hair.
Yes.
She knows that her mum thinks that means she's cursed.
Yeah.
So there's something about that.
I still not get it. How does it work? Is even if she cut it, that's still growing silver, because it's just half. It's not like the full hair.
Yeah.
So.
That's what she says. She says even when I cut it, it goes silver. So, sorry, yawning. Yes. Chapter 25.
Chapter 25.
I love this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. It's really keep you in suspense. What's going on? What's going to happen now? So, chapter 25 is the squad battle, and in this one, highlights some contradicting feelings. Because we start to see is Violet playing with Tairn, and she, at this point, she's been cheating a lot. So she's been cheating at the beginning when she was found out who's gonna be the next guy to beat in the mat. So she was preparing with poison food, and the gauntlet as well. She wasn't doing it in the proper way. I was going to say that she found out another way to do it. It's cheating, I know. Well,
it's not cheating.
We're going to say that she just always found out a way to always win
or do
won.
Well. Yeah.
And this side, it will be really good for the team that she can just let her in turn to hold her. She refused to do it again, and they lost.
I'd be so pissed off if I was Rhiannon. You know how much I like to win.
Yeah.
Well, I would be really pissed off with Violet.
For that little detail, just let Tairn do his job because he wants to do it and he's not consuming just for once, just for today.
Tairn should have just bloody held it there.
Yeah.
Just for her own pig-headedness. I completely agree with you. She should have just sucked it up and won, and then there's other days where she can practice falling off Tairn.
Yeah, exactly. Because she fell multiple times. It wasn't one or it wasn't twice. According with Tess, multiple times. And that was the reason that she crossed the line last.
And she humiliated his entire family line.
Yeah, poor Tairn has to...
Yeah, it's weird she doesn't want to win. And I agree that poisoning people is just the same.
Yeah, exactly. So if she wants to win so badly and this kind of stuff, why not do something nice for the team?
Yeah.
Not just for her,
Suck
for
it
the
up.
14 or for Tairn as well. Anyway, so the final test was they need to store something that's going to be really useful for the enemy. So everyone was trying to have some ideas, but was Violet, I guess, trying to mend all the damage that she did to the team already. The one who came with a really good idea. They're going to see her mom office when she know there will come so many things they can just use. It would be really useful for the enemy. So they start to find out, okay, if we're going to do this, we need to find out which is going to be useful, what are our signals. And seeing this, when I think for me, it's the first time when we find out Imogen signal is, and it's not been said before. This is the first time that Violet just say like, it's like everyone knows about it. She can wipe recent memories, and the way the Imogen react as well.
And I'm fast. That's
Yeah.
what she wants people to remember, and she's instantly wiped it.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a theory, and I can't take any credit for this, but I should remember who did it, and I can't. That talks about something being committed to knowledge and something to memory. So memory is different to knowledge, and once you know something, you know it, but you might not remember how you learnt it. Like, I know that every force has an equal and opposite force, and that's Newton's whatever law. I obviously didn't learn it very well, but that's knowledge. I don't remember when I learnt that. I don't have a memory of when I learnt it. And the day after the clusterfuck, the day after threshing, when Imogen sits down and they learn about Emery's air wielding, we don't learn about Imogen's signet. And this theory is that she said it and she instantly, so she learnt it, but Imogen instantly wiped the memory.
Yes.
She also doesn't wipe, or we don't hear Jacinia transcribing that she wiped the memory of the guard who was guarding Lilith Sorrengail's office.
Yes.
She 100% did that, but then she wiped everyone's memories that she did it, so that's why it's not there. And it's such a cool theory, and how many times is she doing this throughout, and how many times has she done it to Violet? And that, I think now we know we have to be on the lookout for potential wiping.
Yes, that's one of the things that I was thinking as well. If she's able to do this thing, who actually knows about her signet? Who actually know, like, to the professional about, she can wipe.
Don't know, they must do, unless they think she's just really
it.
Fast.
Yes.
But is she fast? Does she have two signets for some reason?
No, but imagine she said that she is fast. Then they're going to take her time. Okay, how long it take to go to here? And then she said, okay, wipe the memory. It took 20 seconds, so it took 20.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're fast.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So, I do think she's fast as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, fighting, yes, she's fast, but she's not faster than...
She's fast at running as well.
Yes.
We find that out later. She's very fast at running, like Sonic. But
not like
supersonic. She's like Sonic, not supersonic. I don't know. Doesn't really explain it very well, but I think she is fast.
Yes. Okay. Okay. The other thing that it will come my attention is that Emery says that it's scared of scribes, acting like they can make or break someone by writing something down. And then Violet says there's more true about that statement than most people realize. So I was like, it's interesting because it's a scribe, the one who is transcribing this text as well.
And Violet wrote it. So Violet wrote it in her journal.
Yes.
So it's Violet's perspective.
Yes.
And then Jacinia transcribed it.
Yes.
So I wrote this down as well. We have to remember that the story is written by a writer who was supposed to be a scribe, and it's transcribed by a scribe. Is Dane really as bad as he's being made out to be, because they can make or break somebody by simply writing it down.
Just Jasinia's point of view. No, actually.
Well, I think it's less Jasinia, because if you think about what a scribe does, a scribe is very serious. They're sacred to the text. They don't manipulate things, or they shouldn't do.
Yeah, that's.
Although
where it should be.
Yeah, where's the fable? But Jasinia, to me, wouldn't change the text. But Violet would write it in her opinion, and you always get this in stories that are told from the point of view of the main character. You get their thoughts, and everything's kind of through their lens.
Yes.
But you don't necessarily get the true truth, because we live our truth, don't we? And my point of view is my point of view, and that's my truth. But it's not necessarily. Yeah. So I thought that was a really interesting thing as well. Are the good people really good? Are the bad people really bad? Or is it just how it's been written down? Yeah. And it's been mentioned a lot of times, isn't it? It said her dad, when she was dreaming, just before she got attacked, her dad had said something like, you must pay close attention to who is telling the story. Yeah,
exactly. So for me, it was, okay, does it mean that maybe Night of Flame, is it going to be still Jasenia, the one like transcribing this? Or it will be a time that it's not going to be Jasenia transcribing, it's going to be maybe Violet transcribing her own journey, and maybe everything's going to be like really.
Why wouldn't
it's because
Violet have transcribed the first one if she could? I think she doesn't know the modern language. I don't think it's because she's not alive. I think she's still alive. I just think it's that she doesn't know the modern language, which is what? English, Spanish, French, German, Arabic, Hindi, sorry. It's all of the world's modern language, isn't it, that she's translated it into?
Yes. So maybe because she was so busy being a writer, she didn't have time to learn like new languages that describe it down. Yeah, could be. But, okay. And the thesis is still something from Gerard Sorangel's office, and they had this really good plan when they start to distract the guard, going in, find out something useful, and that's when Violet start to see that these attacks that's happening is really serious business, and there's something that is gonna be maybe affecting her, because they start to say that they need more troops, they need more people to defend, and she might be one of those that has to go step on to defend it. And they find as well this map when they had the current position from all the troops, all the things that would be like the dream for the enemies, because with that map they can plan an attack, synchronized attack to wipe out all the troops. They know where to find them, how many are, how to attack them. So she knows that with that they will win, because they're not going to find, the enemy won't find anything more valuable than that to destroy them. And even when the chapter is closed, they don't decide who's going to win. She's thinking that she's going to win, and even Satan is like really pleased, really impressed.
And all their eyes widen, and the professors are like, quick, get to the map.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it was a really good chapter, really thrilling. And I like how Satan is doing this, just the villain side, like, yeah, well done, congratulations.
You're starting to get to know Zayden now. I think he's going to be your boyfriend soon. I think you're going to fall in love with him. A few things I really like. The role of a leader is to form a tightly knit unit that can carry on with a mission after their demise. And like, I don't get my work leadership style from fantasy books, but the best leaders I've had are ones that do that. They give you the, I don't know what the phrase is, but they give you the autonomy to go and do it and learn and develop, so that if they're not there, you can carry on. And a poor leader wouldn't have done that. I don't like Dane as a person, but I don't know if you noticed, but I do feel like he's created quite a good group of, like, he's obviously got leadership skills.
Yeah.
So Imogen is a really good leader, and she just gets on with it. She just gets the squad to follow her. She's like the tour guide. She gets them into the weight room and she gets them talking, and she notices that Violet's got an idea, and she makes her come up front and talk about it. She also gives credit. So at the end, she says, it was your idea, Violet, you present it.
Yeah.
And that's what a real leader does, is they don't take credit for what you're doing. They allow you to go and prove that or just kind of get the recognition that you deserve.
Yes.
So Imogen's a really great leader, and I think that shows that she has leadership potential in the future. And I just think that's a bit of foreshadowing for Imogen's career.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know where Daddy Soaring Girl's research is?
Okay.
I believe it is in the museum.
In the museum?
Heaton or Emery, I can't remember who it was. I always get those two mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
Says, or somebody says, what about a weapon, a crossbolt? I think maybe Riddick says it or something. When after he suggests Markham's underwear. But, just offhand, just a throwaway comment that says there's a crossbolt, we're the only ones in the museum, and that is a few pages after we hear about the research. And Violet says it is in the one place he spent most of his time after hours. Do you think he really schlepped all the way over, like just trekked it to the Vale to spend all his time there out of hours? Or do you think he went in the museum to look at history, to look at when Feathertails were recorded? I think his research is in the museum, and I am going to die on that hill from now on.
Yes. I mean, it makes sense that before he go to the Vale or start to looking for physical Feathertail to make a study about it, he need to find all the information, gather all the information that's available about them, so he can start from somewhere, or doesn't have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So,
I love a museum. I would to get my hands on an entry ticket to the Basgias Museum. Oh my god, I would be in my element.
Yes. So,
I think it's there.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. I mean, it makes sense considering that it's coming from a scribe that's working on it. So a museum would be like another place to preserve information, knowledge.
Yeah, and it's just suspicious that it was dropped in as a throwaway comment.
Yeah.
And we are definitely going to get to see the museum. And I hope we get to see the museum when Onyx Storm.
Yeah, like we said, there's nothing random.
Nothing's random.
Yes.
And the casual mention of the museum just after her dad's research is just a bit... it had a bit of an alarm bell for me this time reading. I thought it was weird that infantry are camping and everyone was saying, oh, at least they get a break. Camping is not a break. I mean, yes, some people like it going on holiday. We went on holiday, do you remember? We went camping.
Yeah,
it was a really good...
Storming.
Yeah, it was good. It was really, really hot, wasn't it? It was a heat wave. That time. Yeah, we went...
We went with the tent.
The tent nearly floated away.
The next day, everything was flooded.
Yeah, but the next time... it was good and it was sunny. Mm-hmm. We're fair weather campers. But the fact that they're like, oh, they get to spend it around a campfire, I'd just rather be in my bed or in a nice hotel.
I think it was in the snow or something.
Yeah, it's snowing. Unless they shoveled it all before.
Yeah, colossal wildered.
Yeah, so I thought you'd also call out another reference to Ridiculous Height, because she says the infantry sleeping hundreds of feet below us.
Yeah, it's like, how tall is this building?
Yeah. Healers go on retreats. I'd like to be a healer, although I don't like blood. And scribes go home for the summer. So is there just no scribes in the summer? So what's that about?
Really?
They don't do any writing, or they don't. Who looks after the books in the summer?
I mean, after you spend most of the time just working with your brain, you need like something that you like disconnect. Like
maybe they have shifts. Maybe they go on holiday for a few weeks. Right. So, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
They actually break into Violet's mum's office. They use Quinn's astral projection signet. That has got to be, apart from shadows, maybe, that's got to be the coolest one we've learned about so far. Don't you think? She can be somewhere and her body or her
she can see
astral projection
that she wants and be in every place that she wants.
Can she go to another universe? Could she go to a parallel universe?
I guess because you don't need to breathe, you know. You don't need anything because it's like a dream. You're basically like daydreaming, and then you just can go. But I'm curious about how she looks like, because Rita is the one who say, "Oh, you look so creepy." But what kind of sentence? Like,
I don't think she
like
looks creepy. He feels that it's creepy. I think.
They
so
feel it's there, but
like maybe he could touch her and she's not actually there. It's really cool, and I feel for Heaton because they are just left behind in the weight room, and they're guarding Quinn. I keep getting them all mixed up. Heaton's guarding Quinn's real body while she astral projects because their signet is pretty pants. She's breathing underwater, which I mean is good, but why do they need that?
No, it's not useful. But there's the thing, she needs water to breathe, basically. So she's like no,
this
like
is Heaton, and they are a they. They don't have a gender.
All right.
They're non-binary. That's why I get them all mixed up, like Heaton, Emery, Quinn. But yeah, so Heaton is the one that can breathe underwater. So they could just go for a swim and they'd be fine. They wouldn't need to come off air. That might come in handy at some point.
But they have to go to a lake or
something. There'll be something that will come in handy for. It's like dropped. It's there for a reason, and Heaton obviously needs it for a reason.
Yes.
So yeah. Then in the office, so many clues.
Is there?
Yes. Riddick finds something. Don't even hear what Riddick's doing. Riddick's like being a bit of an, like he's just being himself. And something comes back in Iron Flame. He learnt something when he was in that office that is fundamental to the plot, but you just don't notice. Even if you read it again, you wouldn't notice, but you find out later that he found out something in the office, and that is so cool because it's a scene where little things. Tyrrendor, protests regarding conscription in Tyrrendor. So the Tyrish, that's where Fenrisen was from. So there's some unrest.
It's basically happening again.
They're the largest contributor to the army.
Yes.
So what if there was another rebellion? Most of the army would be Tyrish.
Yes.
Tyrrendor should be one of the safest provinces in the continent. So you've got the cliffs of Draelor. The griffins can't fly up there. Then it says, except Erasure. And Erasure was burned to the ground. Erasure's in Tyrrendor, though, so I don't know why she says except Erasure. Because she's saying Tyrrendor province should be one of the safest in the continent, except Erasure.
It's because it's not there anymore. So.
Yeah, but Erasure is just a city in Tyrrendor, so it's like Alicante or Elche is just a town or city in Valencia, the province. So it's a bit of a weird thing that they said. And the person that wrote that letter, we do get to meet.
Oh, right.
Alyssa Trevant.
Yeah.
We do get to meet her. Not in this book, sorry. On today's episode of What the Fuck is Professor Kaori doing? What the hell is he thinking? Keeping a handwritten manual on the personal habits and flaws of all active dragons. What is he thinking? Last week he was a bloody healer. He was pretending he was like faking being... What the hell is he thinking? That in the hands of... This is like... Well, I know I keep going back to Harry Potter, but this is like when Neville wrote down all of the passwords to get into the Gryffindor common room, and Sirius Black found it. What the hell is Kaori doing? Keeping that book.
This character is just... I find it really interesting.
He's one of my favourites. What is going through his head? He thought, oh yeah, you know what? I'll stop. I'll write this down. And I'll just leave it casually lying around so that a group of people can steal it. And the fact that when they come back, she says something like, he's clutching his notebook of this. Yeah, hold on tight to that fucking thing. Because what does it say about Tairn? What does it say about Segale? What's Segale's weakness? It's got the personal habits, which we know what Segale and Tairn are doing.
Oh, yeah.
And flaws of all active dragons. The flaws.
I know. That is really useful for the enemy if they want to get rid of the dragons, but they need to first get to the dragons. And that's no easy task to do. I guess because he's the expert in dragons, he need to like show somehow how much he knows, but it's like, yeah, that's not a good idea.
The squad in First Wing that stole that, I think they should have won.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know yet who wins, do you? But I mean, no prizes for guessing. But the squad in First Wing, 100% read that before they presented it. I would have done it. And I would have gone straight to Segale, straight to Tairn, the most powerful coder, Milgren's dragon. What do they know? That squad in First Wing, and that doesn't come back in Iron Flame. But that, for me, again, is another red flag that it's a smoking gun, that book.
Yeah, maybe...
What does it say about Segale?
Well, maybe that's the thing about this. It's just something that casually is living there. And then later on, we'll find out.
I think there's something about Tairn in there from when Naelin died or didn't die, whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's something about Tairn in there. I think there's something about Segale in there. And I'm going to die on this hill. But Kaori should be suspended by now. I mean...
That book is something that, okay, if he thought it was a good idea to make, it's something that should be held by the general or people that are like in command of everything, so they know what are the flaws of their own army and make sure that that's covered or that nobody else.
Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe, okay, I'm not giving him some credit. Maybe that's what he's doing.
It's just that maybe not finished, like a project they never expected they're going to sell.
I love Kaori, but it feels to me a little bit of a, like, he doesn't always think things through. He's doing. Yeah. Yeah, he just likes to be part of things, doesn't he? But he's like, that book in the hands of the enemies, or even in the hands of the squad in First Wing.
You just imagine there's somebody like from this squad, the one they have a look to this book. One of them want to make an agreement with the enemy or something because it want, I don't know if it's money or land or power or whatever, and start to tell all the flaws about the dragons, and the enemy has the power to get rid of all the dragons, how much they would get hurt. And that will be actually like a good plot as well for in the future, like something the enemy find out and they're attacking. And then we're like, oh shit, they get rid of all the dragons and maybe Segale and Tairn is going to be next. Well, actually, you need just one of them to die for the other one to die, isn't it? They may need to go for both of them.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the flaw. Maybe that's the weakness. The connection to each other. Anyway, that for me. Let's find out what's next on the next episode of What the Fuck is Kaori Doing?
There's going to be another section.
Yeah. The other things that are stolen, infantry uniform with a name tag. That's quite a good one.
Yes.
Someone's literally stole a scribe from their bed. The poor thing looks terrified. So I just really want to know what that list of 24 things. What did the other squads get that we didn't know about? And what would you have stolen?
So when they were talking about, okay, what would be useful for the enemy to have, I was thinking has to be something from
Kaori's
the archives. Underwear.
Yeah. Markham's underwear.
Yeah, but I thought they would be getting something from the archives, because it's been told a couple of times that you can rebuild buildings, you can rebuild an army, but if the books are being destroyed, the knowledge is destroyed, you can't.
It's also information.
Yes, exactly. Information about the cities or
they just couldn't get in there because it was too late at night and it's all locked down. Yeah, I think they did the right thing, stealing
It's really useful if you are planning an attack and you know where the enemy are, how many and everything. You can just plan, okay, we're going first these ones because it will be easier, and then this. So it will be perfect to destroy them. So I think yes, it's definitely
even better than Kaori's notebook.
Yes, because even if you had the information, you still have to go to the dragons. And
imagine if they had the notebook and the map.
That's all. Will be another book.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even when it's not mentioned who wins, I think that's like a winner. For all this stuff.
Is Jack in first wing?
Yes.
Do you think he's got the book? Do you think he saw the book?
I don't know what's going on with him. They didn't mention it. Is he still recovering from the oranges?
Dead in the infirmary. Semi-dead, but not dead. Yeah. I'm suspicious. But yeah, I think information was the right thing.
Yes, definitely.
I would have gone to the museum and got Daddy Soaringale's research. If I knew where it was, yeah.
Found out that you can get directly the power from the feather tail. Well, it won't be really useful because they're going to say that, okay, like Violet, she got the power.
That wouldn't be useful for the enemy. I'd just really want it to read it.
Okay, that is different.
Okay, also, this is the second chapter that's ended on all hell breaking loose or everyone going mental. Why did they go mental? Did they go mental to look at the map for information? Did the professors run because they didn't want everyone to see the information? Did people... Because everyone rushes the stage, don't they?
Yes, I think maybe it's because the information they're showing in the map is not what they're told in the battle briefs.
So everyone wants to know.
Yes. They want to know what actually is going on, what is the current situation. And the people in charge, they don't want to show that.
Yeah.
So actually, well, they said there are no boundaries. They
can't get in trouble for doing what
because
they did.
They're right. If other goes and their enemies, they will be fucked. So that is definitely one of the winners, I think.
Yeah. Also, I mean, never mind. I'm not going to say it. It's a spoiler. Okay. So, what do you like? Are you sufficiently hooked? You said you were after threshing, that you really wanted to know what happens. Have these 5 chapters changed that? Have they made you want to know more?
I want to know more about Satan's dad. I'm really interested about all the Tairish rebellion because I started to think
the apostasy.
Yes, I started to think that actually they are the good guys. So this is something that I don't know if it's because it's connected to one of my ideas from one of my books. The bad guy is always framed as the bad guy, but actually when you listen to the story, it's actually the good guy who's fighting for the people. They blame her as the bad guy. Yeah,
that's a good point. It is very similar to your book in that respect, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's why, because I feel connected, I want to know more about Satan as dad, because I think that's going to be the thing that's going to change completely the story of this book. And you know already because... but
I'm loving living it again through you but you have already infinitely done way better with your foreshadowing in your theories than I had at that stage, because like I've said before in previous episodes, I just really wanted to find out what happened.
You're not thinking, you're just going through all the story, that's it.
Yeah. And we need to work out how we're going to do Onyx Flame. I keep saying Onyx Flame. Onyx Storm, when that comes out, are we both just going to chain read it, or am I going to chain read it and you're going to do it 5 chapters at a time? Because that's when I think you'll guess a lot about. I trust your theories in Onyx Storm because you are doing so much more thinking than I was at the time when I was reading it. So I'm glad, obviously. I didn't, like, this would have been a pretty terrible podcast if I'd asked you to read a book and you're like, this is terrible. What were you thinking? What on earth is wrong with you? So this is the part then where we talk about the new signets we've learned. I think we have already covered most of them. So we've got Mira creates her own wards. That fits with her protective personality. But essentially, I think you can think of that as a shield.
It's like a protecting herself and people. She'll be protecting his quadrant as well.
And she's been rewarded for bravery behind enemy lines, and I think the reason she could do that was because she could provide her own wards.
That's why I think the Violet signet is going to be as well something meaningful, because you think about Brennan and Mira is something useful for the people as well. So
to save people.
Yes. So that's why I think that she will have something that's in that kind of signet that's more for the people, to help people more than destroy or kill. Like,
interesting. I think you're going to find out in the next block of chapters.
I think we'll find out in this one, because when I was reading the epigraphs, and then when she got the channeling, she started doing stuff, I thought it's going to be soon. And then when I get to the end of chapter 25, I'm like, I had to wait now.
Yeah, no, you'll find out in the next lot. I think it might be the end though of those. I don't know. I never read ahead each week. Imogen, we talked a lot about hers. Recent.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Memory wipes. Yeah, what does she do again? And she's really fast.
She's fast. Yeah, I remember that.
Heaton, we talked about them already. They can breathe underwater. Riddick, we talked about him. He's an ice wielder. He wouldn't be helpful shoveling snow. Ree, we talked about her already. She's a summoner. Quinn, we talked about astral projection. Emery can control the wind. We talked about that one. Nadine is an interesting one. Nadine was the one that doesn't really like marked ones. She's a bit prejudiced.
Yes.
But she can unweave wards, which is odd, because mostly people are trying to create wards to protect people, but she can get through them.
Yes, which, I mean, I guess it counterbalance Mira's segment.
Creating wards, yeah.
But you're expecting the enemy won't have something like this. So why would be useful, because it's against his own.
It's not just
people.
Mira's signet though, is it? Because Xaden has warded Violet's bedroom. Does that mean Nadine could get through that?
It looks like.
Yeah.
Yes.
She doesn't in this bit, or does she?
Yeah.
Don't know. And what about, so she can, obviously wards are lesser magic as well, so you can ward a door, but what it looks like what Mira can do is like create a shield and a ward, but yeah, Nadine's is a bit weird. Why would you need to unweave wards?
Yes.
What kind of a person is she? She needs access to places, she needs to sneak around, she needs to get into a secret, like that. That's the weird thing about Nadine. Jack, we don't know if this is a signet, but it
seems there's
at this
something
point in time he was able to inflict pain on. Is it a signet? Is it something else? We don't know yet.
Well, it has to be a signet because the color of the eyes change. So if you're doing other kind of like magic trick, as you call it. I don't think their eyes will change. If their eyes are changing, it's because it's part of the sickness. So maybe he just started learning to control it.
Interesting. And it would fit with his personality.
Yes, exactly.
And then we found some general ones. We've talked about fire already, but the other general, maybe not general, but we don't know who it belongs to, but we know that somebody has a signet to take away the power of speech, because that's what they did to the scribe.
Yes.
So that was an interesting one that just kind of jumped out.
Yeah.
I think that is it. We would normally also now talk about any dragons that we learn about. We don't learn any new dragons, but we do hear another mention of a different red scorpion tail. I can't remember what chapter it's in. But they must be really common. We're always hearing about red scorpion tails.
Yes.
Okay, so the last segment of the show is where we pit two characters against each other on the mat. We spend a lot of time in these chapters this week in the sparring gym, either in challenges, which we see Liam absolutely nail. That might be a bit of a hint of where we think we're going. But you also, in the training this week, we heard that Dane refuses to go up against Liam in a challenge because he doesn't want to be beaten by somebody younger.
Yeah.
But they are sparring together, which is a first.
Yes.
So, in a legitimate challenge, not Emeterio, but somebody has written Liam against Dane on the list. Who is winning that match?
I will say Liam. There's a lot of reference about Liam's physical. He's really tall. Reader Colin is built as a bull. And not just that, he's been training with Zaydan. Zaydan is right now the most powerful rider in the whole Basgiath. Also, Liam, he was maybe prepared that he's not going to have it easily because he's one of the marked ones. So it's going to be harder for him, and I think because they had this chip already, everyone's going to hate me, everyone's going to he's going to give me a lot of trouble. I need to get stronger, I need to be tough. So for me, Dane, he's kind of like, he's from a good family, he had like everything really easy to go in. So his dad is Colonel, his dad as well as really good friend of the Sorrengel's family. So he's kind of like a prince, you know.
Yeah, his signet's not a fighting one. He's like a bit of a baby.
Yeah, so it's really useful for intelligence. So it's like, he's built to be in an office or be always inside the school.
To be honest though, I don't think he's got to that rank of squad leader without winning challenges. I think he's got to be competent on the mat. I just think Liam, I mean, it's squad battle as well, so he was probably beating third years. He's a first year. Is he beating third years as well? I feel like Liam is just really good at fighting, and Dane, he must be good, but I just can't see him winning. Also, I wonder if some of Zayden's dislike of Dane passes on to Liam.
Yes.
And Liam just wants to
just beat him.
Yeah, just beat him. Yeah, and Liam doesn't seem the kind of person that would respect rank to the point where he wouldn't really give it his best shot.
Yeah, true. So we are agree.
Unanimous. Liam Murray is our winner.
Yes.
Like an Emeterio lifts his hand in the air, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's not because we don't like Dane, it's just
Jack versus Dane maybe next week. See who we dislike the least.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I think you've picked out some really cool stuff this week. And I'm just really excited to hear what you think of the next 5 chapters. So next week we'll be covering chapters 26 to 30. Yes. There are only 39 normal chapters in Fourth Wing. There's 2 more Zayden point of view. But that means we will only have 3 more weeks.
Episodes.
Yeah, 3 more episodes of Fourth Wing, and then we can really get your lowdown of what you thought of the book and what you think is going to happen in Iron Flame.
I really want to know like what I get right, what I get wrong, and then what are going to be my expectation for Iron Flame as well.
Oh, we need to make a JC Theory bingo card just to keep a view of what you get, and you can tick them off when you get them right. So I'm setting you homework to go and read chapter 25. No, we've read 25.
26
read
to 30.
26 to 30.
Yes.
And come and sit back down on the sofa and tell me all about it.
Finally, I will be able to say, okay, now I know what Violet Signet is, and it's really cool.
This time next week you'll know what Violet Signet is.
Yeah.
It made me cry.
Really?
Oh, it's about 3 times, yeah. When she manifests, it's very emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks so much for listening. If you've made it to the end, well done. You can follow us on TikTok, on Instagram. You can find episodes on Spotify. You're going to have to help me out here. Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube with also video. If you are listening on one of the podcast apps, please rate us and write a review. Please share the podcast so that we can reach as many people as possible. And if you are watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then you tick the notification bell and you will get notified every time we launch a new episode.
Yes, also let us know what you think, what are your theories as well about this, or everything that you can share without spoiling anything for me, and trying not to get too much information. I don't want to get affected for stuff that maybe I can see on Instagram and TikTok. But I will be interested to see what were your first impressions when the first time when you read these chapters. It will be really cool to see. Also, if you want to know more about us, you had a website. It's faithfullyfantasy.com. In this website, you can find all the apps they use to give you the podcast. All the information is there. So please have a look, faithfullyfantasy.com. And we'll see you again next week.
See you next week. Thanks.
Next week on Faithfully Fantasy.
I had to just say that I wasn't expecting that Violet is going to have that kind of signet.
I'm going to quote you from last week saying, it's definitely not going to be a weapon.
In my defense, I had to say that even Violet is confused about it. You can read perfectly. Imogen comments, Soren girls
and
are
then
weird.
she vanishes off the face of the earth.
That's something that for me was so logical. Why not happened before? You get hit or something in battle and you're falling because you're not attached to anything.
Yeah.
And then you die and your dragon dies.
Put it on the list next to the dragon scale armor. We'll look into it.
Yeah. We're looking for General Sorangel budget just to see if we have enough.
This place doesn't run itself.
He's another character that give me a lot of questions.
I don't think he's a rider. I think he's an assassin. Smart, I'm calling that now.
Interesting.
We don't know that. There's some really cool things. Liam didn't cheat death. It was Violet. Is Malak angry? The vision of Malak sitting on a throne, being angry, and her saying, "Well, at least I've given him Jack's soul." There's so much in that. Is Malak gonna get Violet back in some way for cheating him?
For taking something that doesn't belong to her.
Yeah, because of the time stopping thing. The stopping that she shouldn't be able to do that. So is she intervening in fate and things like that?